wonderful. So first of all, there's been concerns, and it sounds like you're aware of these concerns throughout different municipalities in Jefferson County. What happened?
Yeah, so Valerie, we kind of had the perfect storm, unfortunately. The issues primarily that we had this past week were in the city of Hoover. You may or may not be aware, we run a twice a week service schedule there. Unfortunately, it is a 6-day service offering, and so on the weeks of the holidays, as they fall currently, we don't have the opportunity to do a makeup day. So all of the service that and the issues really started with our Thursday pickup, where we had not provided a Monday service as normally would be scheduled due to the Christmas holiday. And between the additional volumes that just come with the holiday and the fact that we were only doing a once-a-week service as opposed to the twice a week, which we knew, we had some equipment failures that really kind of threw us into a bit of a tailspin. We had some opportunities to, I think, do some things differently in retrospect, not to armchair quarterback it, and things that we will do differently going forward. But it put us in a position that we got behind on the service schedule, which ended up carrying in through the weekend and actually through New Year's Day on Monday. So we ran 14 trucks on Monday on Sunday and Monday this past week to play catch up. Additionally, the city had contacted the city of Alabaster that runs equipment, and they had a couple, 3 or 4 trucks that were running as well.
And when you say equipment failure, what exactly went wrong and what happened?
Yeah, various mechanical issues with the equipment, from the automated arms that are on the trucks to some electrical issues, also the DPF regeneration system that's associated with the emissions filtration systems on the equipment. Just put us in a down hard truck scenario that unfortunately we couldn't get them back up quickly enough to recover. So
how many trucks was that again?
4.
4.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Correct me if I'm wrong, it takes a certain kind of mechanic. It's not just like the mechanic that I can take my car to.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Particularly, and garbage trucks are they're a little unique in themselves. So not only are we dealing with the diesel engines of the equipment, but there's hundreds of feet of electrical wiring. There's the hydraulic systems that operate the cart tippers or the automated arms on the trucks. So yes, ma'am, it's not just your run-of-the-mill technician position.
Okay. And what about staffing with Amwaste? Is that an issue at all? Is that playing a role in any of this?
No, not currently. Several months ago, we did find ourselves in a bit of a staffing shorting. We did a campaign on hiring and training, and so personnel has not been the issue. It was unfortunately it was equipment related. And we do have the spare equipment that should put us in the position to be able to handle those things. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, it was kind of perfect storm just where we were from a maintenance standpoint at the time and fleet availability.
Okay, and we've heard from people, not just in Hoover, but also in Homewood, Vestavia Hills, and Pelham also, who have had concerns. And just relaying what those people have said to us is that it wasn't just a holiday concern with the delays this time of year, but it's something that they've seen, over the last, let's say, year.
Right. Yeah, so I think probably some of that goes back to probably 4 or 5 months ago when we were short on personnel. Homewood, as you may be aware, is a newer contract for us, and so totally different service provision and our offering than what the city had provided themselves. We have had some hiccups there, but I think we're back on the right track. But certainly it's different. It is not the same service from a perspective of what containers are used for collection services in Homewood, or what time of day we are picking up versus what the city was doing. So I don't want to say that there are never challenges, but I certainly do think we're on the right path there.
And the Cahaba, I know this is a mouthful, the Cahaba Solid Waste Disposal Authority.
Yes, ma'am.
What municipalities fall into that?
So there's the city of Trussville, Mountain Brook, Homewood, Fultondale, Vestavia Hills, Hoover, and Pelham, and the city of Clanton.
Okay, so a wide range of people that Amwaste is serving.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe that your crews and your equipment is able to handle all of these municipalities?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Perfect storm and some decisions that we probably will make differently going forward, I think created the challenge for us this past week. But I certainly am confident our team's capable of handling the volume of services that are associated with those, as well as unincorporated Jefferson County.
What assurances can you make right now to ensure that these ongoing problems that people have faced will be addressed moving forward?
So we've done a couple of things. We have brought in some additional equipment from our Georgia operations just to ensure that we've got the equipment available to provide service as scheduled and as people are paying us for and expect from us. Secondly, we are currently and have been working on a reroute of all of our services in the Birmingham market that will take away the Saturday service schedule that we have in Pelham, Mountain Brook, and Hoover currently. And on the weeks of the holidays, we're currently, because we don't have the availability of a makeup day, will allow us to service all residents as scheduled with the twice-a-week services.
And what happens if we have another equipment malfunction in the future?
Yeah, I think we'll be better positioned, especially when we look at the holiday weeks, and certainly would call in assistance of additional equipment sooner than later. Amwaste is, although we are a local company, we're not just in Birmingham. So we've got the opportunity to share assets between our locations outside of just the reroute. And from a volume perspective, where we're doing the twice-a-week collection on a lot of the municipalities within the authority, Fultondale is the only one, and Trussville are the only two that have the once-weekly service. So we routed accordingly there. We won't have the volume issues that we do with the reroute in place and being able to pick up twice weekly on all customers.
So it sounds like the reroute, you believe, will resolve all these problems in the future.
A big part of it. We'll need to stay on top of the staffing and equipment, no question. But I think just from a sheer volume perspective, especially on a holiday like Christmas, where there are already additional volumes, I believe that the ability for us to provide that twice-weekly service will alleviate a lot of the pressures that are put on that one-time-a-week service then.
Do you mind me asking, how many employees do you have just in this particular greater Birmingham area?
Yeah, in the Birmingham division, we have 113 employees.
Okay. So it sounds like, we've got a lot of truck operators.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. So that's the majority of our staffing here in Birmingham. So yes, ma'am, it is not a personnel issue for us at this point.
Okay, and I know that a lot of these places, technology's evolved so much. They have like these apps and stuff where you can submit. I think that's in at least, I want to say it was Hoover, Vestavia, and Homewood were saying like, hey, if your trash was missed or you have something, the best thing to do is submit it to the app.
Right.
How quickly do you guys get that information?
So that's real time. As soon as the residents. So there's certainly different programs. The city of Hoover, for example, uses one called C-Click Fix. Any resident can go through their My Hoover Connect app, and they can lodge a concern. We have folks that are monitoring that real time all day, every day.
Do you know how many of those you actually get?
On a normal basis, golly, for the city of Hoover, for example, it may be 20 to 30 a day ish. We perform about 58,000 services a week, plus our boom trucks, which is an every other week service in the city. So call it 72,000 services for the week, maybe 20 to 30 a day.
Okay. And that's just, hey, my trash was missed or something like that.
Or I have additional material, need a container swapped out, anything along those lines. So it's not just a missed service communication tool. It's for boom services, for, as I mentioned, need a new cart, need it swapped out, whatever the case may be.
Okay. And I know that those particular areas of Jefferson County that we've really been focusing on this conversation have also been impacted recently by some storms, which, also created some increased debris. Did that play a part in anything as far as, whether that was the equipment going down or just trying to get caught up?
No, not in the issues that transpired this past week. That totally different equipment that runs the boom services for large tree debris and things along those lines. Totally different equipment and equipment operation on those as opposed to the household garbage.
Okay. And then one other thing, someone had also mentioned that they had concerns, not with the delays in service, but just that sometimes when trash is being picked up, that it would spill out and be left out on the roads. Are you aware of any of that, or?
I have not heard anything along those lines, Valerie. I'd like to think with the type of equipment that we've utilized, primarily which are the Corrado front load trucks, it minimizes that opportunity only because with the automated services, where the container is being picked up to where it is going into the container for collection and then transportation is very, very small. So we're talking 3 or 4 feet. So could it happen? Yes, ma'am. Certainly our expectation is if it does happen that we're going to get out and pick it up. Okay. So.
And then my last question for you, I know you're aware of some of the concerns, especially heightened around these holidays. A lot of interest in this story today. For people that are watching, is there anything that you want to say?
Yeah, I apologize if on behalf of myself and our whole team, we hold ourselves to a very high standard, and to have a failure along the lines that we did is it's frustrating. It's very concerning. However, I do have full confidence in our team that we can handle the volume of residents that have contracted with us. And so just a sincere apology. I know now is not the time of year or any time, but particularly around the holidays, people having guests over, et cetera, that they want to be concerned or be frustrated over garbage service. So certainly a sincere apology there, and but also then I do have confidence in our team locally that we can get this taken care of.